self-control. Her gravity is all that I know. She's over me. She's over me. She caught me with her hypnotic dance. She holds me here with only a glance. She's over me. She's over me. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to this Tuesday edition of the Paranormal Portal Bedtime Stories From Beyond. I'm your host, Brent Thomas, and we are live and underway on this fine, good evening, and I hope you're all ready. I hope you got everything all taken care of. Hope it's all comfy, because it's time for bed. All right, ladies and gentlemen, this is it. We are live. Holy disco hell, what's going on behind me? Let me change that setting. It was like, it was flickering off. Oh my God, hold on a second. I'll get this under control. And there we go. There we go. It was my own little personal disco hell there for a second. I was like, huh? So, not that I didn't love the 70s, ladies and gentlemen. Bell bottoms, corduroy, and some really weird music. But the age is over, and we can't hold on to the past. We have to get into the present and forward. Be forward-minded, maybe, huh? So welcome to the show. Hope you guys had a great Tuesday. It's almost Hump Day's Eve, which is tomorrow night, and Don will be joining me, of course. I'm not sure if Cindy Goodbreak's going to be able to make it or not, but she may. We have yet to discuss it, but she and I talked a little bit today. Just some things going on in the Bigfoot community. So, but other than that, it's been a hell of a busy day. It's really been a busy several days because I'm really working hard on learning 3D rendering and animation so that I can make some new assets for the show and put together new multimedia pieces that I think will be a lot of fun. But the learning curve is really, really big, and so I'm having to dedicate a lot of time and energy to it. But I've made a donut and a coffee mug so far. It's really sexy. But I'm on my way making a light bulb now, so I'm killing this, ladies and gentlemen. I might have a video asset made in about 25 years or so. No, I'm sure it's just a matter of learning how things are done, and it'll come together. But it's something I really love doing. I guess I'm artistic anyway, so it's kind of a good use of the skill without having to whip out a bunch of paints or creative mediums to craft with. So. Anyway, and it can also be used in conjunction with 3D printing and then a whole bunch of other things. So it's a pretty good skill to have, and I think it would be really cool in a lot of manners. So anyway, tonight's Bedtime Stories From Beyond is ready to roll, and I hope you got your comforter or quilt handy so you can hide under it, because it is an impervious shield against the paranormal. Bed sheets always seem to come into play in these stories, so just saying, it's probably good to have them close. It comes up all the time. People have like, oh, this thing was appeared in my doorway and was moving towards me. So I decided I didn't want to see anything. It's like, oh my God, how could you not see that? I would not want to not see, because it's just one of those things like, well, what if it's going to kill you? I mean, don't you want to see it coming so you got a chance of defending yourself? I don't know. It is funny though. But anyway, the first one tonight comes out of North Carolina. I think this is Deb's stomping grounds, I think. And thank you to all you that are in the chat room. I see you guys in there, and it's wonderful. It's always heartwarming to see that the chat room fill up as soon as I put the streaming live. It's just really cool. I am so humbled every show. It just makes me feel so damn special. I could just about cry, but not quite, because nobody respects a crier. All right, here we go. There are two Mariposa bridges, a new one and an old one. The old Mariposa bridge isn't used at all anymore. A long time ago, there was a woman whose car broke down on the old bridge, and she was killed by a drunk driver. And some people say that there are nights that you can see her upper torso drifting from one end of the bridge to the other end of the bridge. I didn't believe this was so I went to go see for myself. I didn't see the upper torso, but I did hear a faint cry that sounded like a woman. And it may have been in my head, I don't know. The bridge is located in the outskirts of Stanley, North Carolina, and anyone care to see for themselves, go right ahead. But beware, the old Mariposa Bridge is also condemned. The ghost may or may not be a myth, but gravity is a certainty that would put a put a turd in anyone's punch bowl. That's what the person said. I would really hate to see someone getting hurt over this, but if anyone has any details of this bridge, feel free to add. So that's the whole story. And, there's lots of legends out there, and it seems like every place has their legends. I can't tell you how many haunted bridges there are, and while the stories may change, a lot of times, if they're a tall bridge, it's because somebody committed suicide, or some destitute woman with her baby jumped off, and you can hear the baby crying, and just horrible, horrible stories like that. But there's so many of them, and it's kind of a pop culture thing, I think, because like with hotels, every old major hotel, like if it's an old hotel and it's relatively big, every one of them claims to have the jilted bride, ghost. There's a jilted bride ghost that she went, they got the hotel room, and she went to get married, and she was stood up at the altar, and her fiance, almost husband, ran away with another woman. So she came back to the hotel or just went to a hotel and decided to commit suicide, end her life there. Now, that is repeated so many times through so many locations, and there may be validity to, one or more than one, but I can't believe they're all true. And the other one that every hotel seems to have is the child spirit. The child was playing in the hallways and fell down an elevator shaft, or fell down the long stairway and broke their neck, and now haunts the hotel. And, the thing with these things is, ladies and gentlemen, is sometimes hauntings don't need to have a factual beginning. Sometimes by virtue of people believing in things like this, I believe they collect an energy of their own and they become real. I believe that, much like residual hauntings happen due to psychic impressions, that I think a fearful psychic impression can create an entity of itself. We are creator beings. We create our realities. And I mean that on a very fundamental level and a very broad spectrum level, but it is a truth, in my opinion, and I think that as we learn more of quantum physics and dynamic things like that, and string theory, we're going to find more and more of that how much of this we create. But I'm pretty sure that no matter whether those root stories are true, they do take on an energy and life of their own, and so by virtue of people believing they are true, they become true. So just my 2 cents, but I think there's a lot to that. I think that a lot of these legendary stories. And maybe this is true. Maybe a woman did get killed by a drunk driver and it can be proven and validated. But is it really her spirit that haunts the place, or is it the expectation of the people going there that she haunts the place and therefore they create it? In other words, maybe her spirit really isn't in torment or turmoil. Maybe it's just moved on, and people's fear and expectation creates an entity that can be seen on the bridge. So whatever you want to believe, but I know there's something to that. I know it's incredibly profound. So, oh, okay. Take care, Renee. Good to see you. But it's an interesting story nonetheless. So, and it does create good conversation. I love discussing those ideas because I think they are important, and I think that, again, it doesn't take a factual event to create a haunting. Now, there may be spirits that come in and mimic popular tales like that just because people expect it and they get to be somewhere. So it may work in that level too. Maybe it's a vagrant energy that wants to, embody that. And I believe that these spiritual energies, whether they were human or not, doesn't really matter, but I believe they can go into a place and just know. They can read the energy of a place like it's history, like it's a book, and they can feel everything that happened there and get that knowledge really quickly. So I think that, that may happen in some cases as well. So that's, I think there's something to it though. Anyway, the next one I want to read you is a little bit longer. And this one comes out of Wisconsin. I used to grow up looking at Wisconsin as I lived right on the shore of the Mississippi River and across Lake Pepin, which was the widest point of the Mississippi River where I lived. That was Wisconsin, so I always saw Wisconsin. And it's funny, they used to have yellow license plates, and the big joke in our river town was, what happens when you fail your driving test 3 times? And the punchline is they give you a yellow plate. So, and they were always accused of being horrible drivers. And maybe it was true. I wasn't really driving back then, so. But I thought it was pretty funny. Hey, Don, good to see you, brother. And welcome to the show. I hope you've had a good day, too. And we'll see you tomorrow night, mister. Be there, be square. So out of Wisconsin, this one is, when I was about 9, I lived with my great-grandparents' house with my parents. My great-grandparents were already deceased, and I remember I was always afraid to sleep in my room. I was always just feeling like someone was watching me. And one night I remember waking up, and I really had to go to the bathroom, and I saw this big reddish thing come out from my window. It looked like it was made out of clay. My mom said she saw something similar to that, only the figure she saw was blue, and it was in her room, coming from her window. She also said it looked like it was made of clay. Then one night, my dad was sleeping downstairs on the couch. My mom was upstairs in their bedroom, and Dad asked Mom the next morning why she was standing over him and while he was sleeping. And Mom said she wasn't standing over him. She was absolutely in her own room, in bed sleeping. My dad doesn't believe in ghosts or anything. He just brushed it off. Oftentimes, when I take a bath in that house, I would hear people talking. But it didn't sound like any of my parents. And one time it scared me so bad that I ended up grabbing my towel and running out of the bathroom. And we moved out of that house when I was about 12. And I'm now 16 years old, and we had to move back to that house. My parents got a divorce. Oh, that's too bad. And I keep having the feeling of being watched. I'm not scared like I was when I was younger. It just kind of creeps me out. But I've been having dreams of me or my younger brother being crushed by the big rock pile thing we have in our backyard. I only have that dream when I'm in that house, and I still hear voices when I'm taking a shower, even when I'm the only one in the house. Oftentimes I feel cold spots. Sometimes the TV will turn on and off, or the vacuum, and who leaves their vacuum plugged in? I always unplug it and wrap it up and put it away. Hey, honey, let's put the vacuum there. It's a great piece. I'm scared of hearing anything talk back. Me and my friend Nicole experimented with a Ouija board, ladies and gentlemen. Here it comes. Ba-dum, bum, bum. But I stopped after 5 minutes of it because I was scared. I also hate the basement. It's not finished or anything, but it has a dirt floor and the walls are made out of rocks, and I have to go down there to do laundry, and I feel watched down there, and I swear I felt something play with my hair when I was down there. The voices I hear sometimes are not even in English. They're in German. My great-grandparents came to America from Germany, so maybe it's their voices I hear. I'm not sure what to do. I need help with this one. Yeah, those are tough. It might just be your great-grandparents are still there. Or maybe they come and visit. I don't know. And ladies and gentlemen, I know many of you know that EMF is used as an indicator of spirits, but in older houses, it's also a real problem. In terms of unshielded wiring or bad electrical connections can create EMF fields, and it's actually EM fields. EMF stands for electromotive force, but EM fields can create that feeling of being watched, and it doesn't have anything to do with an entity. It's just that high field can create feelings of discomfort, and like paranoia and stuff. So I would think, as if I was investigating this place, the first thing I would do is do a real thorough EM field sweep and see if they have some bad electrical wiring or in the areas that people have issues with. And even hallucinating voices can be related to a really powerful EM field. So something to consider. But, not that it couldn't be paranormal. As we said before, EM fields are also indicative of a strong spiritual energy. So what the answer is, I don't know. But it's something definitely to check. I would think that the difference being, if you find a high EM field and it doesn't move ever, and it's always in the same place, which is also a place where there's a lot of wiring or service, electrical service coming through that area, then chances are it's an electrical issue. But if it's a migrant field that you find moving and changing, then it very well might indicate a presence. But anyway, just some thoughts on that. I like to give you knowledge. And sometimes I have some to give. So the next story, ladies and gentlemen, is coming from Ohio again. This is D-Land. I haven't seen Dee in here lately. Have you guys? Is she here? Hey, Deb. Good to see you, dear. Lewis, Dana, Diana, Joseph Crow. Good to see you. Haxer, Dana again, Lewis again. I'm just going through the list. I really wish they'd give me just a plate of names so I wouldn't have to scroll through the whole chat, but I just like to give you guys shout-outs when I can. Ken's in here. Matthew Learned's here. Let's see. Lewis is still here. Lewis is there again. There's Lewis again. Lewis is chatting a lot. Dana. Who else am I missing? Oh, Lady Death, of course. How you doing, lady? Hope you're having a good day. And Don was in here for a bit. I don't know if he's still here, but just giving out the shout-outs. Renee was here for a bit, but he had to go. I guess he's a mod on a different channel, and they were going live, so bastards. I'm just trying to give everybody a hello that I can see. I know Jess is in here as well. Good to see you, Jess. And I might have... Oh, Annette Critchfield. Hello, Annette. I hope you're having a wonderful night. And I think that's everybody. If I missed you, I'm really sorry. I just like to do these quickly, and unfortunately, there's no easy way to do it quickly. So I have to scroll through that list pretty quickly. But anyway, this is Ohio. So I didn't see D in here. So, and then you can see the participants. What did you say, Lewis? On top right corner, click on the bulletin. All right, I'm going to check this out. Participants. Whoa, dude. Oh, okay. Carmen Overopter, Dana, Deb. Thanks, Lewis. Dude, you just helped me. Lewis just saved the day. Diana, Haxer, Jess, Joseph Crow, Lady D, Lady Death, of Lewis, me. Oh, Razor's in here. Good deal. Lau Rotman, Ken is here, and Don is still here. I don't know if Don's active right now, but thank you, Lewis. That's awesome. You're the man. Time for the paranormal. Oh, Razor, my boy. You're awesome. All right, so getting to the story from Ohio, ladies and gentlemen. Let's see what's going on in Ohio tonight. Well, no, this is actually, the story was submitted in 2007, April of 2007, so quite a while ago. But let's see what it has to say. I've always believed in spirits and the undead, but I never thought anything would happen to me until 2 nights ago, when it finally did. I am 17 years old and never been so scared. I was really nervous to turn off my lights the other night, but I didn't know why, because I'm really never nervous about a good night's sleep. I fell asleep around 8:30 p.m. and didn't wake up until midnight. All the clocks in my room read 12, and the air in my room was so cold that I could actually see my own breath. And it is never that cold anywhere in my house. I laid in bed breathing heavily, and I kept hearing a creaking noise under my bed. And then I heard scuffling noise going across my carpet by the closet. The scuffling noise then turned around and headed toward my bed, and all of a sudden, a huge black figure stood up over my bed for a split second and made a low screaming noise. And then it left. That's nice. As it was screaming, a huge wind hit me in the face. And the next thing I knew, it was time for me to wake up for school. Did I dream this? Because when I woke up, I had goosebumps and all my clocks still read 12. And I have a bunch of boxes under my bed, and they were all spread out across the floor. What's going on? It really freaks me out. That's a horrible thing, though. Could you imagine something just creepy, scurrying and screeching around your room and then standing up as a big ominous shadow? Yeah, that's on the nope train right there. I don't know. But then again, ladies and gentlemen, I think people think if there's stuff under your bed that it's like it will stop the spirits from hiding under there, and that's really not the case at all. They can, they're well known on phasing through doors, phasing through walls, going through solid objects all the time. So, they're dimensionally out of phase. Is my best guess at how to state that. So, whether or not you have things under your bed doesn't mean there can't be things under your bed. It's just a physical deterrent, and it doesn't necessarily deter that energetic presence from being wherever the hell it wants to be. But, just one of those things that you probably need to get your house cleansed. Now, is it a dream or not? I don't know. I think I just by the way it was explained that person might have fainted, That's a pretty horrible thing to have experienced, but it's anybody's guess. All I can do is read them. I don't know. It's all on the table. So let's get to the next one here. And this one comes out of Alabama. And let's see what's going on in Alabama. Are you serious? Why am I getting that ad? Company I used to work for, I'm getting the ad for their stuff on my... Nope, I'm going to X out of that one. All right, so Alabama. All right, I'm 11, and I've already witnessed 3 events involving ghosts in my house. It was about 2 weeks from Christmas, and it was really late at night because I couldn't go to sleep. I looked up on my window, and I saw...
Elizabeth.
Are you serious? The ghost box just said Elizabeth. Wow. Okay. That's curious. Huh. Okay. All right. What about Elizabeth? Let us know. That was pretty clear. I mean, it's a generator of sound, so it's not the actual spirit voice, if indeed it works, and I'm not saying it does, but that is a curious thing. Okay. So where was I? I lost it now. Okay, so I couldn't go to sleep, and I looked up on my window and saw something. It was an orange mist with eyes. I was scared to death, but didn't make a sound. It was creepy because it stared at me. I just got as low as I could, hoping it would go away, and it did, but then something worse happened. I blinked, and in its place was another ghost. Don't say this is a figment of my imagination, because I pinched and punched myself to make sure that I was awake. The ghost was a person. He seemed old-fashioned, about early 1900s, I'd say, and all of him either had a pale tint or his clothes were pale, and so was his skin. He was carrying something, and I think it was a gun or an axe, and it was just staring across the room, and it was the last thing I saw before I went to sleep. How the hell do you go to sleep while you're witnessing that? That's curious as hell. So 2 years later, 2007 January, I woke up and saw something else. Something in a dark red robe was walking toward the foot of my bed, toward Give. So we've got Elizabeth and Give tonight. Now, ladies and gentlemen, this hasn't done anything for weeks now. And now it's spit out 2 words, so that's pretty interesting. Although last night there was apparently 2 presences here right before the end of the show last night. I didn't notice it until after the show was over. But I don't know. Okay. So 2 years later, in January 2007, I woke up and saw something else. Something in a dark red robe was walking toward the foot of my bed, toward a table. It put its hand on the table like it picked something up or put something down and then vanished. I again made sure that I was awake. Well, that's crazy. Elizabeth, Give what? What's the next word? Need more information. Must have input. All right, we'll see if it says anything else. Okay, so the next one is coming out of Illinois. In Brookfield, Illinois, things out of the ordinary are continuing to go on in the woods. Apparently, Native Americans used to settle back in there in the 1300s, and well, I myself witnessed the first orb sighting in my entire life on Monday, April 23rd, 2007 at 10 p.m. Wow, that's really precise. We were in the woods for over an hour, and I listened to one of the 3 other people there telling us about past experiences they had. And one odd thing that happened was in the river that runs by the path, the water burst loudly like a large fish that jumped up and back into the water. The river was still before that, and no trees had branches big enough to make a large burst like that. Also, one friend of mine was with a bunch of people, and he felt a baseball bat hit him in his back. He fell to his knees, and the rest of them had to carry him out. There was no sight of an animal because they didn't hear anything or see it. Plus, he was in the middle of the group at the time, and no one obviously would hit him so hard that he couldn't walk by himself. Then another weird thing was occurring frequently. My friends and other people we don't know have seen actual orbs, with a camera and with their own eyes. Some were red-colored, blue, and a dark fuzzy cloud-like figure. It would stay as long as a minute and then disappear quickly. This happened too many times. Well, this was all talk to me until I saw it that night. We were walking out of the woods, and then 2 of our friends saw one of the orbs in dark color, and it disappeared. And as we left, we turned back and watched all dark areas closely. After 2 minutes, I saw a blue circular orb that stood there for about 3 seconds and then left. I wasn't joking. I was stunned by what I saw. I didn't look at any lights before, and I seriously stared at the darkness until it popped up. Then we saw 2 more areas along the trees where a cloudy-like image would float and then move away. I really never believed in spirits rising or ghosts until I saw these moments. No one took any drugs, and we have brains not to be lying and trying to make publicity out of this. It happens too many times for it to be false. We still are pursuing adventures out there to see what is happening. In conclusion, I speak with 100% truth of what I saw, and I will believe in it forever. Well, that's very powerful, and maybe that's what that person needed. Sometimes these events happen because people need them to happen. You know, you don't go looking for ghosts if you don't want to have the opportunity to see ghosts. You don't go investigating something unless you want the opportunity to experience it. And, that's what I think is going on, is maybe they just threw him a bone and said, here you go. Here we are. I'm a blue orb. You never know. Sorry, I gotta wet the whistle. All right. So, continuing on. Let's see what else we can get into here tonight. The next one is from Michigan. I lived in Michigan for a while. It was a pretty cool state. Not really much going on where I was at. I was just out of Flint, and it's pretty much just flat and a few forests here and there, but it's pretty tamed. The Upper Peninsula, on the other hand, is beautiful. It's really pretty up there. But I was in an area called Lapeer, Michigan. It's just outside of Flint. So it was more urban, but it was, a lot of farms and ranches and stuff in that area. But anyway, Michigan. My friend Julia has lived in the same house since I met her. She doesn't know how old her house is, but her dad said that he used to ride his bike past the house when he was a little boy. And I've spent the night at her house too many times to count, and a whole lot of strange things have happened. There are at least 5 different entities in her house. A little girl, in a white dress, of course. They all have white dresses, don't they? With long brown hair, and a very tall man dressed in black with a big axe. Jeez. A man with a hat and a cloak that walks around the hallways. And a young man with black eyes. And a guy wearing a long-sleeved white shirt with short hair and jeans that walks around her kitchen and dining room. I've seen all of these entities at least one time each, and some of them I've seen more than once. Most of them don't seem harmful, but there are 2 of them that really scare me. The boy with the black eyes and the man with the axe. The boy with the black eyes comes when you're trying to sleep, and he talks. At first, he just mumbles, and then you can make out what he's saying, and he says very mean things. He swears a lot, and one time when Julia was laying in bed, he started talking right by her ear and called her the B word and said he was going to beat her. The man with the axe seems to be chasing the little girl, and she shows up and then disappears, and then shortly after, he'll walk in the room and look around and then walk out. Yikes. I've had many experiences in the house when I was getting up to use the bathroom or get a drink, and I saw someone standing there watching me from the hallway or the dining room. And I've also heard them walking around the house, and sometimes they talk or turn the television or radio on and off, and it is strange to me that there are so many of them. Can anyone tell me why there would be much traffic in one house? As I said, most of them don't scare me, and I'm just curious as to why they're all in the house. Well, there could just be a portal there. There could be a natural portal or vortex or, convergence of ley lines, or some other energetic fulcrum that makes that house an attractive place. It's hard to say why they would be there. And if it's a really old house, could it be generations of impressions, or, are they all intelligent, or, could several of them be just residual? I don't know. It's just the whole little girl and the guy with the axe. It's like, God, that's like, I've seen those movies and I don't like them. All right. The next story comes out of California. California dreaming. All right. Usually, whenever I go to my room, I do something, and I sometimes see things out of the corner of my eye. It's kind of creepy, but also I sometimes see things out of the ordinary, and sometimes I feel like I'm being watched by something, and it's not nice. It's pretty evil. Something way too evil. This whole deal happens at random, so it happens at any second or any day, and there's this one time where I thought I saw a woman in long black hair and a white robe, and it kind of looks like The Grudge, but I don't know, really. So it kind of really scares the heck out of me. And also, when I come in my room, I sometimes feel like something is behind me, and I feel evil energy, and I pray to the Lord to put a shield over my house so the evilness will go away. After the prayer, it was gone, but then a few days later, it came back, and I could seriously tell it wanted revenge, and I could still see the spirit, but I decided to live with it. Yeah, those are tough. Again, it just pays to know how to protect yourself. And ladies and gentlemen, again, let me remind you, last Friday, we had the exorcist and spiritual teacher, Jeffrey Seelman, on the show, and he was talking about if you go to his website, and let me repeat that, his website is starclear.com, STARCLEAR.com, and you can contact him from there, and he will send you guys, as listeners to the show, links to get to his first book, which is an entirely audiobook, so it's really easy to absorb and sit back and just listen to as you're doing things. But in there, he gives great examples of how to create shields, how to protect yourself, how to, cleanse and push energies away. And so definitely look into that, because those kind of skills, I think, are something that everyone needs, especially those of us that realize there are a lot of things out there that, are not so easy to get rid of. So learn how to put up shields. But again, starclear.com. Also, you can certainly reach out and talk to Deb or Sean, who is Ian's Magic Oak. He's sometimes in the chat room here. Or Dee Swiger, Diane Swiger is also. All of them will have some knowledge of how to help you protect yourself. But I think those kind of things are really important. How to create shields, how to, protect yourself against those energies. But there's definitely, a need for it, especially with all of the negative charge that's around so many people, and whether or not it's just projections. And, Jeffrey brought up a great point, and I would like to reiterate this as well. Sometimes you're under attack, and you don't really know it, but it comes in the, it comes from the living. It comes from people that may be thinking terrible things about you, or just being spiteful or angry or hurtful. And it's really important to know how to protect yourself from those kind of interpersonal energies, because people do that all the time. People are always talking smack about someone else, always talking crap behind someone's back. Well, that energy doesn't just stop in a conversation. It goes. It goes, and energy follows intention, so it goes to them. And those negative vibes that are being cast out, and I'm not saying you guys are doing it, but that people cast out, they do and can do harm. So try, if you're involved in any conversations like that, try to put a stop to them. Don't participate in that kind of stuff. But it's also another reason why you may want to know how to shield, because all you're doing when you're shielding is just sending that energy back. It's like you're not absorbing it, you're not attacking them, you're just bouncing it back, because you don't need that in your lives. Life's hard enough anyway without other people adding bricks to your pile emotionally. So definitely look it up. So that was that story, and I've got one more for you guys tonight, and this will be the last of tonight's show. So this one comes out of Wisconsin, the great state of Wisconsin. Want some cheese? I got me some cheese from Wisconsin. Actually, Wisconsin cheese is awesome. It is really amazing. I don't know, around the country, a lot of people don't know about this, but one of nature's most perfect foods is deep fried cheese curds. Those things are just like amazing. And a lot of people outside of the Midwest don't know about them, but they are just amazing. And you're right. Haxer says Wisconsin has the best drinkers in the world. You're right. Those people know how to tip them, and not in a disparaging way, but they love to have their get-togethers for sure. So, but yeah, cheddar, yeah, just not just cheddar cheese, but I mean just a lot of different cheeses. They make just so many, but they're amazing. But deep fried cheese curds are just out of control. And if you ever get a chance to try them, you can thank me later, or or yell at me later because it's hard to quit eating them. That's the problem. So what? No, man, they can drink and hold it from 10 a.m. to 2 a.m. Yeah, that's a skill I never picked up, brother. I get a real thimble bladder once I add alcohol. It's like, take a drink and just have to go pee it right out. I don't know, it goes right through me, but some people can do that all day long. All right, so the next one, which is from Wisconsin again, is my family has this old farm about 20 miles outside of Mauston, Mauston, Wisconsin. My family used to visit every Sunday and play in the bluffs around the farm. And in case you don't know what a bluff is, it's basically like a foothill that you'd experience around a mountain range. They're just smaller hills, but the dictionary defines a mountain as a peak, earth, elevation with a peak, but a bluff is rounded. So just so you know, in case, because that's also a regional thing. Well, not necessarily. I grew up around bluffs, and a lot of people didn't know what the hell a bluff was when I would travel. So I got used to explaining it. But anyway, they play around the bluffs. The farmhouse was built in the early 1900s by my great-great-grandparents. Wow, that's some history. Today, my great-uncle and aunt live there. And so on one visit, I was washing up for dinner, and something caught my eye in the bathtub. Well, the bathroom wasn't there when the house was built. It was a pantry, and later on, it was made into a bathroom. So I turned around and saw a man wearing overalls and writing in a leather-bound book. He had a really bright blue eyes and dark brown hair, and his leg was twisted funny. When he noticed me, he let out a hearty laugh and pulled the plug to the tub. He went right down the drain. That's awesome. That's right out of a Disney movie or something. I was 8 years old, and it terrified me when that strange man just went right down the drain. I shot out of the bathroom and told my mama and great aunt what I saw. My great aunt says, "Well, sounds like Uncle Thomas." If I'd never seen a picture of Uncle Tom, but he was my great uncle and died shortly before I was born. He had a crippled leg, or he was crippled and died in that house. And my mama says that I don't have to be afraid of Uncle Tom's ghost because any ghost in that house is bound to be friendly since it was built with a whole lot of love. Oh, that's cool. That's cool, but going down the drain, that's awesome. And they, maybe we're turned into cartoon characters after we pass. Can drop anvils on us and stuff. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I guess that about wraps up the evening. I hope you've had a good time. We don't know what Elizabeth gives, but it says Elizabeth give tonight on the ghost detector, the paranormal detector. But I don't know. It's not telling me what the Elizabeth give, but if anything else comes through before I turn it off, I'll be sure to let you guys know. But I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you so much for being here, and I love you all. I hope you have a great Wednesday. And again, Don and I will be back tomorrow night for our normal 2-hour escapade into the world of the paranormal, or the worlds of the paranormal. So, thank you, lady. That's right. If you have a ghost experience of your own or paranormal experience, UFOs, cryptids, or just a weird event that you'd like to share, please feel free to email us at paranormalportalradio@gmail.com, and I'll be absolutely thrilled to read your account on the air. And let me know in the email if you want to be identified or not. I certainly don't need to. We can keep you anonymous. if that would make you happier. But I just love the listener emails. To me, those are just the best. I love hearing what you guys have been through or seen and experienced. So you guys take care. I hope your night is beautiful, and I'll see you tomorrow. So we'll talk to you soon, and sweet dreams.